Hello and welcome to Talking Good Game. It's just finished. Sheffield United 0, West Ham United 1 as the Hammers, for now, move up to 8th place in the Premier League. We're here to discuss the highlights or the lack of highlights from the match and individual performers and all that good stuff. Gonzo, I suppose we'll just talk about the first half overall, will we? No half time. What did you make of the opening 45?
Well, the opening 45 I thought was sort of different from the opening 25. I think you've got to almost separate them into two, really. So the opening 25 was just terrible from a West Ham point of view because we couldn't string two passes together, it seemed. And I mean, the first two balls up to Sebastian Haller were both terrible. Fornals was one of them. Somebody else played another one. Absolutely awful. Two hospital passes straight away. Anytime we seem to get any momentum or get a throw in or anything like that, it seemed to end up back with Fabianski. So any sort of territory we would gain up the pitch, we just ended back to Fabianski, hoof up the pitch. I just thought it was absolutely awful. And there were times when I looked at it. If you remember, Haller early on in the game came back very deep and not even just on set plays, actually during the game. And there was one point he headed the ball out during open play from a sort of defensive midfield position. And there were times during that initial part where we've got no attackers. There's no attackers here. You couldn't call Fornals one, and certainly Bowen wasn't. And certainly as any time we did get forward, I was finding Bowen was frustrating me quite a lot because I found him, a little bit greedy, and it was a little bit, so first 25, certainly I wasn't impressed at all, mate.
The first 10 minutes, I think, was concerning me. I thought they were very direct, Sheffield United. They kept landing it in behind Masuaku, and I thought, oh, here we go, they've got a plan here. And I thought it was working for them. They weren't doing much once they got behind Masuaku, luckily, and they were putting in early crosses and fizzing them in between our keeper and our defence, and those are the worst types of crosses to defend because no one can touch you. If you're a defender and you're facing your own goal, the last thing you want to do is have to attack that ball because there's only one place you can put it, and that's out for a corner. And you also risk, you don't make good contact, you risk it flying towards your keeper essentially. But Sheffield United, I thought we were lacking bodies going forward in the first half. I thought Sheffield United were, for the duration of the game, to be honest with you, those crosses that were coming in early doors from Baldock and Berg, I thought they were fantastic. But there was only one guy in the box trying to get it, and Balwena, Bona were taking turns. You just give him a nudge he'd run across the front post, they would just give him a little nudge and you couldn't get there. And I just thought we defended the box well, but stopping the ball, getting to the edge of the box was difficult. But when they're playing three centre backs, we've only got one striker, they're going to have a little bit of time on the ball, and they were going very direct, but it was working. I thought we did get into a little bit from then on. I thought we started to get our foot on the ball, knock it around a little bit, maybe toothless if you like, we weren't creating too much going forward, but I thought maybe our confidence or our quality, I thought something began to show that we were a little bit better than them. We were a little bit calmer in possession, moving it around well. I thought Masuaku and Kedwa were trying to push up that side of the pitch a little bit and force them back. But again, we didn't create too much in the first half, but we started to get a little bit better. What did you make of the second 25 then in the first half?
Well, I like what you say. You mentioned someone there, Masuaku, who was the best footballer on the pitch today. I don't mean, obviously there's some defensively we played well, but I mean in terms of footballing technique, Masuaku was the best footballer on the pitch today, I felt. And that started to tell. Rice started to get into the game, which I thought was quite pivotal, and started to dictate the flow a little bit in central midfield. I thought Haller was starting to look bright at this point as well. There was his layoffs in the first 25 minutes. His layoffs weren't happening, but I felt he was a little bit hindered. His layoffs were good. He started getting involved in the game. Started trying to link up with people a little bit better. And I thought there were a couple of occasions when certainly Fornals and Bowen should have played him in. There was an occasion when Bowen absolutely should have played him in and took a shot from an area where, particularly bearing in mind it's on his weaker foot, why shoot from there when it was just easy to slide the ball over to Sebastian Haller. But I thought at that point we're starting to gain control of the game. I thought it was quite evident that Sheffield United didn't have very good players in a lot of the positions. And then the more I looked at it, I was really quite pleased with what I saw, because, of course, what we'd done at the start is we'd basically seen off Chris Wilder's team talk. So they came out all guns blazing, and we just sort of sat back and said, OK, then we'll break us down sort of thing. And as you saw when McBurney did find his way later on in the game into attacking situations, they just don't really have the technique or the personnel when it counts. For that final bit of ruthlessness, which clearly we had. So I just thought the longer the game went on, we were in the ascendancy. When I made myself a cup of tea at half time, but he expected to come back in the second half and see us exert our dominance on the game, really.
Yeah, that Bowen not sliding Elliott in was frustrating. I think it summed up our first half. I think there was times I think we were a little bit too selfish, perhaps. Not just Bowen, there was other players as well that I thought the decision making wasn't the best, but I did think we were slightly a better team in the first half in terms of quality. Went in half time 0-0, come out in the second half, Gonzo, and prior to the goal, until the goal, so there was only 10 minutes. What did you make of that opening spell?
Well, I thought we had to see off another team talk. I thought he got them in at half time. Wilder probably screamed at them, probably shouted at them, probably asking them where the Sheffield United of last season was and things like that. And I thought the same happened, but I was more comfortable with it this time. So I thought, okay, actually, we do have good defenders. I know what we're going to do here. I'm not going to suggest I like it, by the way. I don't particularly like us playing like this, but I sort of would grow more accustomed to it, and I knew what would happen, which is basically Moyes playing it safe at the start of the half, thinking let's just see them off. They can't hurt us. Let them blow themselves out, basically, which I felt happened by and large in both halves. So first 10 minutes wasn't great. They were the better team at that point, but I wasn't overly concerned.
It was. It's the same against Fulham. Fulham were the same as well. So this is clearly a Moyes tactic, I think, to sit back for the first 10 minutes. Basically, say to the opposition manager, "Let's see your game plan. I'm going to give you an opportunity." It's like chess, isn't it? So you have a look. You go. Let's see what your plan is. And once I've seen what you're doing, I'm now going to come and counter attack what you've got on the pitch and stuff. And it's happened now. The first half, second half against Fulham, first half, second half tonight. So you have to assume it's a tactic, either that or we just start slow. And I'm going to give them credit and say that that's the game plan from West Ham. We're going to sit back, see what we got, show us what your plan is, and very quickly we've worked out in the first half. Okay, they're going to thump it long behind Masuaku, so we just try and help Masuaku about then what they're going to do. And I think they struggled once we stopped that. Once we put players over in that area of the park, Fornals dropped a little bit deeper, Soucek came over a little bit more, and we stopped what they wanted to do in the second half. Again, I think that Sheffield United come out with their tails up, but I didn't really see anything from Sheffield United which suggested that they'd changed the way they were playing. They almost continued what they were doing with just a bit more enthusiasm about them, and it didn't really work. I was a bit like yourself. The first half I was like, oh no, this is too good. The second half I thought, seen it before, you've been doing it for the first 45 minutes, it's not worked. What do you think? Is Sheffield United expecting Moyes have gone in at half time and said, you know what, boys, I think we should just stop defending for 5 minutes or something? They just tried the same thing, and I thought, it's not going to work. It's not worked for the first half. They had one decent chance in the first half, Sheffield United, when someone played McBurney in and he did like a half volley type thing from the edge of the box straight at Fabianski, but that was it. There wasn't really anything else, some dangerous crosses. But we made it 1-0, 56 minutes. Up steps the big man, Sebastian Haller. Loose ball goes through. Fornals has a short block, bobbles to Sebastian Haller and battered it into the top corner.
Yeah. I mean, lovely finish. Bowen obviously played it out there anyway, which I was pleased about, because I did find him frustrating. And then to see him go to Fornals at that point, to do the right thing. I mean, okay, he's playing someone else in, and for Fornals to shoot when there was no way he was going to score there, which I did find a feature of our play. No, so fortunately it rebounded. I say kindly. It's not like he had a tap in, is it? Because what a strike it was, and it was an excellent strike from Sebastian Haller, high into the top corner. Keeper got a touch. Couldn't matter. It was too much swerve, bending away, too much power, too much precision. So it didn't matter what the goalkeeper did. I thought the celebration was quite telling, actually, and I know he's a bit like that anyway. But there was no celebration. It was puffing out the chest, and it was, there you go. That's what happens when I get the ball, sort of thing. I felt it was very much saying that, and I felt it was a theme that carried on for the half, because there was a number of times when we would almost get it wide. We'd get it wide to Bowen. Bowen would then play it back for Soufal to put the cross in, and the cross wouldn't come in. And I kept on watching Haller when balls that didn't come into the box when they should have done. Basically, we weren't, like Sheffield United were doing in many respects, and we weren't doing that. And I was watching Haller, and he'd stopped being demonstrative, but I was just watching him. He'd say, just shaking his head doing that basically. So why are you not giving me the service? And I had some sympathy for him actually. But it was a great goal, a really, really good goal, and I'm pleased for him. Not only for him to score the winning goal in the manner that he did, certainly.
Yeah, it's a superb finish from him as well. And it's not really a goal you attribute to too much either. An individual header from outside the box. You're expecting him to get the headers and the poacher finishes and stuff, but he's just battered one in from 20 yards or something. Superb strike, instinctive as well. No touch or nothing. It just bobbled for him. He's like, I'm hitting this. It's funny, isn't it? He got another chance, but arguably his best chance of the game come from something that come off a defender. Fornals shouldn't have shot there. The thing is, I criticised Bowen early on because he had a better. The difference is Bowen had a better option, which was to give it to Ali. Fornals didn't have a better option. There was no one to pass. There was no obvious path that's on. I don't mind people shooting from that because you don't know where the ball's going to go, as we've seen. It could, worst case scenario, it bobbles to the goalie. That's the very worst case. It could go anywhere, go out for a corner, it could get deflected and go in. Anything can happen. So I don't mind it shooting when there's nothing else on. But Alir's celebration is a message because, I think you're right, because when he scored for Ivory Coast, there was none of that. He ran off celebrating with his teammates. He looked happy to have scored, whereas today he looked as if to say, when you say this is what happens if you give me the ball, we didn't even give him the ball. He didn't quite go get himself. But if you watch the build up to that goal, he actually off the ball. I think it's when Bowen gives it to Fornals and Bowen starts. I think it's Bowen that actually comes running in. Haller stands still and blocks off Egan. He very much backs into Egan.
He does.
He sticks his arse out and everything. He sticks his arse out and says, "No, you're not chasing him. I'm going to move you out the way so my teammate's got a clear run at goal." So for all this, while he looks a bit sulky and selfish and that, actually, if you look at his goal, he almost sacrifices himself. He should be the one running the ball, but he sees Bowen running and thinks, "Well, I'm going to help you with your one by getting rid of this guy, getting him out of the way for you." And then just so by happens that the ball bobbles to him and Egan's by now ran past him, ran away from him. Should have scored a second though, Sebastian. I mean, that was an individual strike. This one was verging on a tap-in, essentially. Good work down the left. Weiss gives it out to, I think it's Masuaku, hits it in low and hard to the front post, and how he's missed from there though, I don't know.
I just wonder if he thought he was further over on the pitch than he actually was, if he didn't realise he was wide of the goal or something, which that's a hard excuse to try and make because he is the sort of guy that knows where he is at all times in the box, isn't he? And I did think he'd looked sharp as well today. I mean, when Declan Rice chipped that lovely ball through, that was what Sebastian Haller does. For him to take it, he seems to take the ball out of the air with his foot. Even when he managed to get his foot up at head height, we've seen him do this before at West Ham, and then bring the ball under control. So he was looking sharp in there. So I was surprised that was. It just looked like he didn't know where he was. A complete lack of awareness. Didn't open up his body, as the commentator suggested. And but I was pleased to see him. I was pleased to see him in there certainly, and really good work from wide as well. But Masuaku, wasn't it?
I think Rice puts him off because Rice continues his run to the front post as well. They almost go to the same area actually. And I don't know if Alir's caught Rice coming in at the last second and always hesitates because as soon as it sort of hits him, he doesn't really kick it properly. It sort of hits his foot rather than him hitting the ball. And you could see after, but what I liked was when it happened, the camera went on him. You could see he was clearly pissed off with himself. He was proper, that's my chance and stuff. That's the one I got. But later on, Pablo Fornals really should have played him in. Solcheck with a good tackle out on that left. There was almost 3-on-1. Bowen was on the right. Alir was right in the middle. Fornals, I mean, this is where the sort of lack of pace comes in a little bit, doesn't it? Because his first touch isn't great. Fornals, he almost has to stop and touch it again. And by the time he gets there, I mean, I still think the pass is on. By the time he's finally got under control, he just doesn't do it for some reason. It's just, and again, you can see Sebastian Haller
yes, he was frustrated when
I'm standing here 20 yards out unmarked. You've had 4 or 5 touches over there. You've not even tried to give me the ball.
Yeah, no. This is absolutely, and it was one of the. It was what was I right? I mean, it was quite frustrating because it's almost not knowing your own teammates' strengths. And look, I'm not gonna. I don't want to turn this into a moan fest. By the way, I think we've had we'll put it into context in a minute. What a good result this is for us today. But there were times when even I looked at Declan Rice and I looked at Bowen on 2 occasions, played the ball played a ball too hard and too far in front of Fornals. He was never going to get it. They both played a ball that went out into touch. And I thought, do you not know? Do you not train with this guy? I can tell you how slow this guy is. Why were you expecting him to get that? And I don't think it's technique, because they both got decent technique, both Rice and Bowen. And I think they're just excited in the moment and the counter-attack. No. You can't do that. What you're trying to do, you can't do it with these personnel on the pitch. You can do that if Antonio's on the pitch. What you've just done there to Fornals, for instance, he can't get it. That's why it runs out for a throw-in. And I found that a lot with Haller. Thinking, what are you doing, people? Just play him in the way he needs to be played in. And for that reason, Gio, and for the amount of times I saw him frustrated, is why, and we are both fans of Sebastian Haller. That's why I don't think it will work out for him at West Ham. I just don't think we're capable of playing to his strengths. Sebastian Haller is just a really, really good striker. I'm pleased. I don't want to moan too much about it, because I think we had a really good result today, and I am pleased. Otherwise, it turns into a bit of a moan up, doesn't it? Really, but I'm pleased. I am pleased.
Last 10-15 minutes though, could have done with a second. Declan Rice hit the crossbar. McBurney hit the crossbar for Sheffield United. How was your nerves for the last 10-15?
Fine. I just didn't think they were very good. And I don't say it in hindsight. I said it in both build-up shows, Gio. I don't think they've got very good players at all. And there's nothing that I've seen that will change that. All the best players were West Ham players. And I didn't think we were particularly good today either. Let's put it that way. McBurney, well, that's the difference between McBurney, who I said again in the build-up, I thought they wasted their money by signing him from Swansea. Well overpaid for him. That's the difference between someone like Sebastian Haller. And people might argue we overpaid for Sebastian Haller a bit, but nonetheless, that's the difference between a very good striker and I guess a not very good striker, isn't it? In that sense, no, I didn't. I didn't. My only concern, I think, was towards the end. I looked at it after 79 minutes. Bowen is cream cracker there. He was absolutely blowing, and I was thinking, okay, I understand why Moyes doesn't want to do it, because he wants to retain the shape, but there comes a point whereby it doesn't matter if Bowen is defensively better. Then I know he brought on Noble, but let's say he was going to do the same two substitutions, Fornals and Bowen for Benrahma and Lanzini. I understand why he would want to keep both Fornals and Bowen on. They're both defensively better than the two that would come on. But at some point that becomes detrimental, because when we did win the ball, just near the end, we couldn't really get up the pitch very well because they were so knackered. And actually, getting up the pitch has its defensive qualities too, because it means the opposition can't attack you. And I just was sort of wanting somebody at that point to carry the ball up there. I know we did try and keep it up there in terms of the corners and stuff like that, but that was the only thing I was worried about was Bowen's fitness right at the end.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he was tired. I thought we could have done with the second, and every time we went forward, and it felt like for the last 10 minutes of the game, every time we went forward, we were almost creating half a chance. It was almost like we were cruising through the middle of the pitch. Sheffield United just fell apart. I think they were knackered as well. I thought Sander Berg, for the last 10-15 minutes, he barely moved. He was on his arse. You could tell when you watch that game, bar one player, I think you could tell who had international duty and who hadn't. You could see the ones that were really struggling, that really were crikey, were still going. And I'm just glad actually we were 1-0 up, because it forced Wilder to make slightly more adventurous substitutions, whereas if it was a draw or Sheffield United win, I think he would have probably taken off his tired players. So Wilder had to do like tactical switches and attacking changes, whereas Moyes had the luxury of being able to swap just tired players, keep the system. We don't have to change anything tactically. I just have to take the tired players off. I would have probably taken Sebastian Haller off for the last 5-10 minutes just to have legs up front. So when we did, because a few times we just kicked it into the channel, and then we watched Egan or whatever jog over, collect it, and jog 5 yards forward with it at his feet, which is okay, but it's a bit conceding possession a bit too easy for me. If you had someone fresh on, I could just chase Egan a little bit, just hurry him into kicking the ball away. So I think that's the minor frustration. But for the last 10 minutes or so, bar that McBurney chance, thought we held our ground well, thought our defence played really well. They didn't know what to do. They were going long, we were winning it. They were going wide and crossing it, we were winning it. They were trying to come down the middle, we were winning that. And I think that in the end, we almost just grinded them into submitting anything. They thought, there's nothing happening here. They ran out of ideas. When Wilder made his substitutions, I didn't really see anything that troubled us. It was almost like he was just rolling the dice and shutting his eyes and hoping it'd come up a 6. McBurney, I had to watch him for the last 2 weeks. He's the most infuriating striker in the world. He really is. He does it with Scotland all the time. He reads the game quite well. He gets into good positions. Fucking hell, his finishing though is just awful. He's just terrible. Sheffield United fans must want to throttle him every game they watch because they get the good crosses and he's either not there or he is there and he wins it. Do you know that header in the first half? They were saying, "Oh, it's a fantastic header." I think Fabianski makes it look fantastic.
I thought Fabian that could have been a lot easier for Fabianski. Fabianski did what we used to call a Bruce Grobbelaar, which was made that far more flamboyant. I got the impression he could have taken 2 steps to his left and done that.
Yeah, because then when you watch it back, even the commentators, "Oh, it's a good header, it's a really good save." Then the other co-commentators like Fabianski goes a bit late there. I was like, he goes well late. You're like, what's he been waiting for? So that header made it's just. But he gets that header, and Andy Carroll scores that. I'd like to think Sebastian Haller possibly scores that. It's just him. But anyway, I'm not a Sheffield United fan, but I'm a Scotland fan, and I've had to watch that for the last 2 weeks, and I've wanted to throttle the little bugger, so I'm a Sheffield United fan. But the thing is, I think in the end, you could see which side are bottom of the league. I think their confidence just disappeared. After we scored, that was it. Saying that, that's individual performers. Take your pick.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so Masuaku just thought he was fantastic, absolutely fantastic today. I really do. It just looks he looks on a different level to anybody else in terms of technique. I thought Rice grew into the game. Barely noticed Souček for large portions of that game, and it's amazing. Yet he still almost scored 2 goals. It's crazy, you could not be involved in the game and then do that. But
he missed a big chance, didn't he? That was Alio's header down and stuff, and.
Which is a good header through. But that was one of the 2 chances. He was very, I thought he was very quiet, but he's still, he's always going to impact a game, whether he's playing well or whether he's not playing well. That being said, towards later on the second half, maybe it's to do with Burge getting tired or whatever, I thought he then started to have a real impact on the midfield. And what I really liked, what he did as Souček, was he wins the ball high up the pitch. There's 2 really good tackles, which before it even gets to the centre circle, and he just dispossesses them, and we're on the attack again with really well-timed tackles. Well, Declan Rice, that's the best I've seen Declan Rice play after an international game, for sure. I don't know if the goal gave him more confidence. There was chipped balls, there was cross-field passes, there was one tackle which was... I'm not going to mention the former West Ham legends.
Is that the one on the edge of our box? Someone was running out and did a step over it. He just stood still and put his foot out, and the guy went past him without the ball, and he just walked off.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, football's a funny thing. If you're on attack, you do a dribble, great. If you can do a dribble and put a cross on the end, or if you can do a dribble and score, then the dribble is excellent. How many players do we know that just dribble and then nothing happens, right? It's the same with tackling. A tackle, but can you tackle but actually keep the ball? Brilliant. And then can you then win the tackle, keep the ball at your feet, move into space, and then launch an attack? That's the whole job being done there. And it's one of those. I thought Rice was really good today. I might just say as well, I was pleased when Noble came on that there was no swapping of the armbands. Okay, that was the right thing to do, by the way, and because it would have been just pure ego. Anything else, it was in the last. There was no time for that sort of silliness. Rice stays as captain. It's fine, Mark. You're the club captain. Everyone knows. But I was, because I showed discipline, that we weren't going to get distracted by small things. I was quite pleased, as he was annoying me at the start. Soufal. And I thought he really grew into the game. The longer the game went on, I thought the better he got. And I was actually quite pleased. I still got reservations about his technique. I do. But I was really pleased. I thought that was one of his better performances today. Pleased with that. Cresswell, you mentioned earlier. And I thought Haller, there was a lot to like about Sebastian Haller today. As you say, that headed pass towards Souček just showed awareness, showed control. Obviously, the goal was nice in itself. He was in position a number of times. Bowen should have squared to him. We discussed. I just thought his general hold-up play was pretty damn good as well, mate. And of course, Ogbonna and Buenaki, not everyone in the defence, but he's like a fine wine, Ogbonna. He really is. And this is Sheffield United's issue, and I think they probably will get relegated, by the way. But their issue is Ogbonna Ogbonna's an Italian international who played for Juventus, and not one that used to. Ogbonna would have been in the Italian squad this time if he hadn't have just had a slight injury. He was called up to the squad, and he plays like a seasoned, experienced, brilliant international defender. Rice is England's midfielder. It is too good. Masuaku's like a player reborn, rejuvenated. We just had in all sorts of areas of the pitch. Even though I didn't think we played well, we still beat them comfortably if you can do so with a 1-0 win.
Yeah, I think everybody played well. I think there was only one or two I would say played really well, but I don't think anyone was worse than well. No one had a bad game, which is really pleasing. And it's consistency now. I can't remember the last time. I don't even know this season if anyone's had a bad game 2 games in a row. If they have a blip, they tend to be alright the next one, which is good. But individually, I thought Ogbonna was fantastic at the back. I thought Balbuena played really well when you consider the fact that he had international duty on the other side of the world and complications coming back and stuff. We saw Chelsea played yesterday. I know they've had an extra day, but Chelsea played yesterday and didn't play Thiago Silva because of that exact situation. Whereas we've thrown Balbuena in there, he's done fantastic. You wouldn't have known. You wouldn't have noticed. I thought Creswell did really well. I thought at times, and it's confirmation bias as you call it, at times I thought they were going for him. I thought he handled it well. I actually thought Ogbonna was stepping up quite a lot for the long balls. I actually thought Ogbonna was taking 5 yards further forward, saying actually we're going to battle this header here to keep you away from Creswell, and if you win it, it's alright. Creswell's behind me to win it on the deck, and I actually thought it was quite good. Ogbonna was almost ushering McBurney away from our box, saying no, we're gonna, if you want to fight for a header, we're gonna do it over this a little bit further up the pitch, so if you do win it, it's not going anywhere. There's too much room in behind us. Masuaku was good. I thought Safal was good. Souček, I actually noticed Souček quite a lot. I thought he was really busy. I thought tackling a lot, getting himself about. Bowen was frustrating today. He's probably the most frustrating player on the pitch. Does well, works hard. I've got no doubts about that. I'm not saying he played a bad game. I just think sometimes his decision making can be a little bit better. And the same can go for Pablo Fornals, actually. That's all there is to it. And they're a bit wasteful. We could have scored 3 or 4 today.
Yeah.
And Alier had that big chance, but them two, the two you would look at and say, well, it was you two that stopped us scoring 3 or 4, predominantly because of your bad choices, if you want. And Sebastian Aller, he's a funny one. We're all going to have to do another video on Aller because he's the one being watched, isn't he? We've got Mikel Antonio now and an extra week in training. We don't play until Monday next week, so he's got even longer to get fully fit for Villa. I don't know if Aller's done enough to stay in the starting 11. You sort of feel he has to because he's got the winning goal. You have to leave him in, surely. If you drop him, bear in mind the attitude he's just displayed after he scored. What are you going to do to him? He's almost going to hand in a transfer request. So you've almost got to leave him in. But he still doesn't really suit the way we play. He's not busy enough, and that's just not the way Sebastian Aller plays. But Moyes has now got a difficult decision. It would have been far much easier today for David Moyes if someone else got the winning goal.
Yes.
While Moyes is thinking, brilliant, my striker scored, this is what I want. Actually, he's now got a very difficult decision to make for the Villa game. He's going to have an unhappy striker. And you can get away with saying to Antonio for a week or two, oh, we're not starting you this week, we're going to keep you. Yeah. We're going to keep you. But eventually Antonio's going to say, hang on a minute, Davey, mate, I am 100%. I've had a month of training now. You've got to put me back in there, because Antonio will have been watching today thinking I can do better than that, what Allier's produced. But I thought after his goal, I thought Sebastian Aller was good. I think he was winning a lot in the air. I think his hold-up play was quite good. We struggled to get up the pitch with pace, so the only other way you can do it is either by passing or going long. And I thought Sebastian Aller allows that second option. You want to go long? It's alright, ping it up to me, I'll do something. His positioning, that header for Souček, I don't think anyone else in our team can do that header. It's very difficult to pass it with a header. Superb. Yeah. Can I get your final thoughts on your man of match, though?
Final thoughts. I think this is good time. It's just a good time for West Ham. I think there's a lot of inconsistency in the Premier League at the moment. I think we're one of the consistent teams, even when we've Newcastle aside, even when we've lost, like against Liverpool, I feel that we still play well. I still feel that there's a consistency. I'm not everybody going to like the way that we play. I do appreciate that. But what do we want? I think there's going to be... I don't know, mate. We watched the game. we jump on here. This is what we do. I don't know what anyone else thinks. I don't even have, when we do these videos, I don't even have the live chat up. I haven't got a clue. The only person I know what they think is you and my son. I don't know anything else, right? I suspect people will be asking about Ben Rama. I would suspect that is going to be a feature. But we sort of have to ask what we want, because we are getting some solidity now. We are getting a lot of consistency. And I like what I see. Is it in my tradition as a West Ham fan to watch this style of football, or no? So I'm having to. We spoke about Tottenham earlier, Gia. We spoke about Tottenham. Was it in the breakfast show? We discussed Tottenham, but about them not having any fans, and I said I think Tottenham fans might have to educate themselves. If they want a league title, they might have to educate themselves that they ain't got Glenn Hoddle in the team. They've got Jose Mourinho as manager, and they're gonna have to accept this. And whilst I don't think we're gonna win the title or anything like it, I think if what we want to do is for 2 or 3 years not struggle against relegation, I think we're gonna have to accept what we're seeing at the moment, which is sometimes quite gritty and nasty. And the play did break down, I felt, because of Bowen and because of Fornells. I totally agree with you there. And, whilst we might be always chomping at the bit to get some of these flair players on, if we're getting results without it, then I think it's up to us to adjust to it. And I'm really pleased, because I think this was a tricky. I do think Sheffield United will go down, so I do think their confidence is shot. But I'm really pleased because actually you put it into context. I looked at Sheffield United last season, and I thought, why are they so much better than us? They've just been promoted. They look brilliant, and we look awful. And I did, and I thought I felt there's been a massive balance in power. We look like we could go down and get relegated. They look like they could qualify for Europe, and in the space of whatever a season, it's now turned around. Actually, we look a much better club than they do now, and that a lot of that has got to go down to the coaching staff and the way we're organising the players. It's Beauty and the Beast, but do you know what? Maybe it's time for a bit of beast in us. That's what I think.
Just quickly, a thank you to Migsy for a $5 in the super chat that just says, "Come on, you Irons, have a $5." Migsy's obviously feeling happy and generous.
Migsy's likes it.
I'll get your man of match in a minute. If my final thoughts would be that it's almost like I've watched 180 minutes of the same game from Fulham to here, but it was slightly different. I thought today, I don't think there was too much difference in style between us and Sheffield United. I think both teams were nitty gritty. Both teams were willing to put a foot in. I thought it was for a game that had no yellow cards, you would assume it was very gentleman, but I saw a few crunchy tackles out there, good strong tackles. Lundstrom went in on someone, Solskjaer went on someone. There's a few meaty ones. I like them tackles, and I'm glad actually the referee didn't even give free kicks for them. You can see a few players like, whoa, you can't go in that hard, and the referee said, what are you talking about? Get on with it. And I like that. I like a physical game. I thought both teams were up for it today. Both teams gave 100%, and if Sheffield United fans are watching this, I think they'll stay up. They just need a win. They get one win, confidence goes up. You need to get a striker scoring. You've got 4 or 5 at your club there. You need to get one of them to start scoring goals, and you'll be okay. And I'm not so sure it's my countryman, unfortunately. As much as I like him to, because then we're going to the Euros. We've got the Euros with someone in the Premier League scoring goals, but instead we're going to the Euros with someone that's infuriating Sheffield United and Scotland fans. But listen, I thought we'd done well tonight. I thought we were hard to break down. 2 clean sheets on the bounce. These are 2 games that would normally make me a little bit nervous. We've got 6 points. I'm a happy hammer. This team will start again against Villa next week. If Dean Smith's wondering what West Ham are going to do, just watch this game. But maybe as much as I like to see variety sometimes, maybe there is something in it that says, actually, let the other teams worry about West Ham. How are you going to stop us? We've got goal scorers across our team. We're scoring different types of goals. We saw Lanzini hit a banger against Spurs. We've seen Alio do it today. 2 individual strikes in between those. We've got Fornals getting on the end of a loose ball at Anfield. We've had Solskjaer against Fulham with a good pass from Ben Rama. We're scoring different goals. I thought we were well organised today. Worked our arses off. Even though I've got some players could have performed a bit better. Absolutely no complaints whatsoever about commitment, about work rate. None of that. I thought we played well. I thought we played really well. 8th in the league. Long may it continue. But can I get your man of the match, please? Sorry.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give it. I could easily give it to Ogbonna. I could easily give it to Ogbonna. However, I don't think they're very good, by the way. And I don't think he had the sternest of tests. I don't think he was up against great players. So I am going to give it to Masuaku. I just thought was a constant threat throughout the game, full of technique. Should have had an assist certainly as well. Thought he was just in complete command. Funny enough, ironically, their one chance. Not their one chance. The chance where McBurney came and he sort of had his half volley was because Masuaku and Cresswell were up the pitch playing triangles and they got caught out, and there was actually no left back there or left sided centre half or whatever you want, and Declan Rice hadn't filled into the position, which is what he normally does. So that was if they'd have conceded there, Moyes would have known exactly what had happened. He would have looked at the tape and said, "Okay, we know how to eradicate this goal." But I thought Masuaku was absolutely tremendous today, and I really enjoyed watching him play, and to see him go from somebody who looked like he was going out the door to he looks like a 15-20 million pound player at the moment, and I'm absolutely delighted to have him.
I just think we'll get into, actually I'm not going to give Masuaku a higher mark as Gonzo. We do a player ratings on the pitch, and after I'll speak about Masuaku and that because I'm wary of how long I've been going on for. My man of match is there's only one contender for me, Declan Rice. That's why I've not mentioned him already. I thought he was amazing. I thought he was unbelievable today. That's one of the best performances I've seen from him this season. Bearing in mind he's just come back from international duty as well, he looked like the fittest player in the park. We all speak about how good or how fit Solchek is. I thought Declan Rice covered more ground than him today, just by from what I've seen. It's probably when they get the numbers through, it'll be slightly different. His tackling was superb, the reading of his game, that pass for Sebastian Aller in the first half when he dinked over and Aller nearly brought it down. The defender sort of got in the way a little bit, but that was the pass from Rice in the second half. He was running at that Sheffield United back four saying, come to me, and as soon as someone come out, he gave it out to Masuaku or someone on the left. There was a couple of times where Masuaku and Cresswell didn't come with him, he flicked out to the left and there was no one there. You could see Rice apologising. I think Rice should be turned around as captain. Rice should be turned around to Masuaku and saying, where the hell are you? Get up here and help me out a little bit.
He reminded me of Harry Kane a bit today.
Yeah, I thought Declan Rice was just unbelievable today. Him and Solchek, I always wonder when we're away to come up against a team with three centre midfielders, I always think, how are they going to get on? They should be outnumbered. At times I thought they were, didn't look like it. I thought they handled it superbly. I thought Rice was just hit the bar with a header as well. Sometimes, a few games ago, he wasn't even going up for corners, Rice. He was stood outside the box for whatever reason. I think it's because he's reasonably quick and reads the game so well. It's almost like a protection barrier. Can we afford to not have Rice outside the box for them breaking? Well, actually, maybe after the England goal, we thought, actually get him in the box, tacks that front post, hits the bar. On other days, he's got a second goal in the matter of 6 days or something. But yeah, Declan Rice was that's one of the best individual performances I've seen from any West Ham player this season, I think, to be honest with you. His performance was faultless. There's only one England international on the pitch now, I know there's other internationals, like Berg plays for Norway and all that, but you could tell who it was by a country mile today. Unbelievable. Anyway, David Sullivan's rubbing his hand. That's an extra 5 million onto the Declan Rice value.
And also it's a little bit out of his pocket because he's going to try and negotiate a new contract soon, so he might not be rubbing his hands quite so much. Yeah.
Anyway, right. We're going to disappear. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. It helps us out. Subscribe if you're new to this channel. Patreon's your player ratings video will be up in an hour and a half or something. I'm going to have a little debate about Arthur Masuaku with Gonzo, and we'll catch you in a bit. Villa next up on Monday night, so the preview will probably be Friday for that. We'll see you soon.